Assalamu alaikum all. Today I'm going to be talking about Ali Abdaal tips for language learning. Now I'm a big fan of Ali Abdaal. I got to meet him a few times. He's recently gone up to like 5 million subscribers. Definitely recommend you check out his channel. And he released this amazing book called Feel Good Productivity, which I've just finished. Absolutely loved the book. And I think a lot of tips around productivity and habits definitely tie in with language learning. In order to develop language learning, we need to have good habits. We need to find ways to be efficient and make things easy for us. And this book has a really different take that I really love. And I'm going to be talking about the main lessons I took from the book in today's video. So yeah, just want to say if you're new here on this channel, I share my journey learning languages as a Muslim. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is it has this equation of like feeling good boosts your energy, which reduces stress and which then enriches life. I totally agree with that when it comes to language learning. Like doing language learning in a really easy kind of way really helps, really feels good. Like I use Duolingo, I watch French YouTube and Netflix rather than going through some really difficult book and trying to force my way through it. And a good thing that he sort of points in the book is like, well, generally with anything is that language learning doesn't have to be tied with suffering. A lot of people think language learning is, you have to just work hard, get this really thick, complicated book, just force your way through it. And it is not like that at all. Apps like Duolingo, watching French YouTube and Netflix, and just letting things just kind of enter into your brain is a much more fun, more energy boosting way of learning a language. Another tip he talks about is reducing friction, and definitely reducing friction to my language learning process has helped massively. If you think about if you're someone that wants to exercise now, and if you've got an exercise bike and that exercise bike is locked away, and every time you need to do exercise, you have to take the bike out, do the exercise and put it away. That's just extra friction. Like even a little bit of friction, like just makes it difficult to like do anything. So that's why Duolingo is really great. It's just on my phone. I can whack it out and just start using it straight away. I don't have to remember which page or anything like that. And it's really good. I also like the fact that I don't have to look up words. Like I could just do exercise. And when I was using N.I.C.E, the book, I was constantly looking up words, going back and forth. It's just that extra friction as well. And then with books, you have to carry them around with you and things like that. So yeah, Duolingo is like a fantastic way. I'm not saying to not use books at all, but once I've developed my language more, I can then go to books and it'll be a lot more easier and the friction will be less. And yeah, the next thing is just to kind of enjoy the process. I'm always thinking about the end result. I want to learn French. And I want to learn this. I want to learn that. And then I'm just constantly just thinking about the end result. I'm not thinking about the process, just trying to enjoy it. Go on the journey. Most important thing with language learning is just to stay active and keep going. Like if something isn't working for you or getting difficult, then switch it up, try something else, which just kind of leads on to the next lesson, which is lower the stakes. That definitely reduces stress. Not like trying to learn French. I'm going to be super fluent in French in 3 months, in 6 months. It just makes it really difficult for you. Language isn't like one of those things where you could just say, okay, in just 1 month, I'm just going to learn that language. That's not how it kind of works. Your brain needs time to develop the connections and things like that. However, one thing he talks about in the book is NICE goals. And I really like this. It's more input-based goals. So it stands for near-term, input-based, controllable, and energizing. So for example, I have a goal to try and do at least 3 lessons of Duolingo a day. And I have certain times that I do them on. I plan to do a lesson with my online tutor once a week. And I also plan to watch sort of at least 15 minutes of French YouTube or Netflix per day as well. Another thing is he talks about success is how you frame failure. Now, failure can be a very sort of crippling thing if we kind of have our mindset around that, but it's impossible to do, anything without failure. And like language learning is just like that. You're going to make mistakes and stuff like that. And that's how you learn. And I really like this line he has in the book, which is like use failure as data points. So basically use failure to help you kind of lead your direction and help you kind of change things and twist things up. So at first I used N.I.C.E and I was kind of doing well at it, but then it started getting more difficult for me and I had to kind of readjust and think about what else I could do. Then I sort of came across Duolingo because of a colleague of work, and it was just working really well for me. So like using failure is a way to kind of help you correct course and figure out which way to go. The next thing he talks about is cheering yourself on, like good positive self-talk. Like, one of the things is celebrating my wins, looking how many lessons I've done on Duolingo. Like if they say something on a French Netflix show and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I actually understand that, definitely kind of being positive around that, which then kind of leads on to the next thing, which is to kind of forgive yourself as well. Sometimes, oh gosh, I wish I'd continued doing Arabic, and I wish I'd just done that thing, or wish I'd continued, I don't know, exercising or dieting. And I think like we can get really hard on ourselves, and it's important to take it easy on ourselves life does get complicated, and how we were 5 years ago is totally different to how we are now. There's more we've learned and things like that. So yeah, definitely forgive yourself is very important. Another good thing I like is he talks about don't do sort of failure to abandon. So when you make a mistake, just try and get back on the saddle quickly. So I remember like when I was trying to improve my eating, and then I had like this good sort of diet eating plan, and then I'd go to someone's house and there'd be like a samosa or something, and I'd have one samosa and I'm like, oh gosh, that's it, this diet's out the window, and then I'll have like another 10 samosas, and that's kind of called failure to abandon. Or like if I don't go exercise one day, then I'm like, oh, that's it, there's no point me doing no, just that's fine, make mistakes, and then I need to just come back on it. Like sometimes exercise, I might miss out a day or things like that. Whatever happens, life gets in the way, just keep carrying on. The next thing I want to talk about is how you actually gain confidence from doing something. So like with language learning, you get confidence in terms of, oh yeah, I can actually learn this language when you actually start doing it, rather than waiting for some sort of motivation to push you. So language learning is like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets, the more you are able to do, the more things you understand. It just kind of has this like cycle that kind of keeps working. So yeah, and you kind of build that confidence. And when I first started French or Arabic, I'm like, I didn't feel that confident, but it was only by doing it and building the muscle. And even like this YouTube channel as well, my other YouTube channel, it's just by constantly doing it, I'm building that muscle. I feel more confident, and then that kind of propels me forward. Another good thing to talk about is the crystal ball method, which is kind of identifying obstacles that will come up in a way. For example, I'm going to be away next week, or, the kids I got their school holidays, so it's going to be a bit trickier for me to do things. So find ways to kind of deal with those obstacles before they happen. So, try and book something in the calendar, have a set time for my language learning, or I know my online tutor is going to be quite busy, so let me try and booking them up beforehand. Okay, I want to learn French. Okay, let me install Duolingo now, have it ready to go. And think about like what would happen in 1 week later if I hadn't sort of done my language learning. What are the sort of obstacles that could come up? So it's like a good thing to think about. Another one which I would like is implementation intentions, and like Atomic Habits talks about this. So for example, for me, I will do Duolingo after each salah, so at least do one lesson in French. So I pray 5 times a day, and that's something like as a Muslim, like we always do, we always try and do that. Try and do 5 times a day is just very kind of big part of who we are. Like even though sometimes we feel a bit lazy, it's something we kind of always end up doing it. So I kind of tied in my language learning habits into that as well. And it kind of leads on to another point, is like create a trigger. So that's like my trigger. So when I go to do Salah, I know after Salah, I'm going to be doing Duolingo. I also do some press-ups as well, so that's another trigger. I don't always do it. Sometimes there's a rush or things get complicated, but it's like a good trigger for me. So definitely find a good trigger. Like there's a moment in the day when you're making your coffee, when you get home from work, whatever it is, something like that. The next thing I want to talk about is time blocking as well. So kind of add it to your calendar. It definitely helps. I know this is something we all know, but just don't get around to doing. So yeah, definitely helped me. And another really good one is track your progress. So, every time I do a bit of language learning, I try and track that. Duolingo is fantastic, where it kind of keeps a track of your streak. So, I've done it for about 120 days. And yeah, fantastic. It's been really good. And also, like if I do miss out a day, like don't sweat, just try and get back onto it the next day. Yeah, Matt Diarella, another YouTuber, has this really good tip about the 2-day rule. So like, okay, it's okay to miss it for 1 day, but you want to try and get back onto it to the next day. Another thing is write your fears, stop them circling in your head. I definitely had that. Like I would be worried about language learning, this, that, and the other, or just like other things in life. And then like just writing it down, where it just kind of gets it off your head. It just stops it remunerating. With language learning, I'm never going to learn this language. It's too hard. Where I'm going to get the resources from? I don't know. Just other sort of things just come up in your head. And then another really good one is watch out for burnout. Do less and just focus. I was doing Arabic and French, and it was just too much for me. So now I just do a little bit of Arabic, but I mainly kind of focus on French because I'm planning on going to France later on this year. The next thing is just more breaks. Have breaks. Like it's more effective that way. Don't feel like you have to just do 2-3 hours in a go. It's I think studies have shown that by having like a 10-minute break every hour helps massively. And I was quite bad like that. Sometimes I would not have breaks. And the final thing I want to talk about is misalignment of goals. Why am I learning this language in the first place? I'm learning French because I want to go to France, and I want to communicate with people, and I want to learn Arabic as well, so I can understand the Quran and speak to Arabic people as well. But I also want to learn Bengali as well, like improve that as well. But at the moment, that's not my goal at the moment, and it's just going to be too much otherwise. But yeah, just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.